Hey, hello, how do you do? Shady Doorags here. Disenchantment. Being from the creator of both The Simpsons and Futurama, this show had a lot to live up to, and while it wasn't the greatest ever, there were elements in the final episodes of the first season that assured it had good promise. Just the final episodes. The first 6 episodes are atrocious. I mean, they're just awful in so many different ways. So awful, in fact, that I think it's important someone dissect them and thoroughly explain why they just don't work. But who could possibly be up to the task?
It's gonna be me.
Little side note, I separate the season into 3 sections. The first 6 episodes, the final 3 episodes, and episode 7. I don't want to keep saying the first 6 episodes of the first season or the last 3 episodes, so instead I'm just going to say the first 6 and the final 3. As for episode 7, I see it as a middle point. It's enjoyable in its own right, but nowhere near as good as the final 3. It also shares some of the problems of the first 6, just not as severe. Anyway, back to the first 6. Explaining exactly what's wrong with these episodes has proven to be more difficult than I originally anticipated. Ugh, it's season 1 of Miraculous all over again. To fully understand why everything doesn't work involves going into detail about several elements. Notice I said elements and not problems. Yeah, there are some things in Disenchantment that aren't necessarily issues. In fact, you could argue that they make the show better on their own. But it's the combination of them together that make up the huge problems this show has. Bearing that in mind, I think it's best if we go through those elements one at a time, dedicating a video to each one. And, as with most stories, the best place to start is with the protagonist.
Stop right there, your ladiness. A delicate flower like yourself has no place for... Good point.
There's a lot to talk about with Bean, but let's stick to how she affects the first 6 and as a result creates problems for the show as a whole. Bean is a young adult who is constantly burdened with the responsibilities of a princess. She's supposed to look pretty, marry who she's told, and pretty much do whatever the king tells her to do, even if it's completely idiotic.
Father, you can't just make me.
The king can make anyone. You do, you do. Say man and wife.
Bean, however, is not happy with this type of lifestyle. She yearns to be free so she can live life the way she prefers.
Okay, so if we get 3 wishes, I want to be in charge of my own destiny, to have my mom back, obviously, and to find a boyfriend who's a great listener.
Now, on paper, there's not much to dislike about this personality. In fact, Disney has proven that it's one of the most likable personalities to put on an animated princess. But let's look past the surface, shall we? This character is a princess. She holds enough power to do things like randomly send knights on quests. You never once hear her complain that she doesn't have enough money. In this diseased and starving kingdom, she's healthy enough to go on the various adventures she has. Many people of upper society consider her a beauty to look at. And when she commits some kind of crime, like killing a noblewoman or stealing from the royal tomb, the worst punishment she'll get is being grounded, while everyone else can die just from being unentertaining or not covering their eyes when the king says to.
You stole stuff from our dead family? Bean, go to your room while we decide what to do with you.
This is the character that has the harsh life? This is the character who we're supposed to believe isn't happy? I'm sorry, but how? I get that Bean's life has certain things in it that she doesn't like, but we're shown all the alternatives the kingdom has to offer. Why is she wishing for a better life? She literally has the best life in the kingdom. Okay, let's be fair here. Just because Bean has the best life around doesn't mean she can't strive for a better one. So, she doesn't want to be a princess. What does she want to do with her life? Well, we often find Bean sneaking away from her responsibilities so she can drink, party, drink, fight, drink, grave rob, drink, Grand Theft Auto, drink, this non-family friendly activity, drink. Yeah, you get the picture. So this quote-unquote better life that Bean is striving for is a life where she takes no responsibility for herself and just commits debauchery all the time. Oh wait, no, she already has that. The life she actually wants is to have all of that and not get in trouble for doing any of it.
God, quit judging me, Dad.
This is a millennial. Oh, come on, I was born in 91, I'm allowed. Seriously though, guys, Bean has all the negative stereotypes of my generation. She wants nothing but to do whatever she feels like all day, every day. She cares very little for anyone she doesn't personally know, inconveniencing them when they stand between her and her wants. She literally gets away with murder because her father is rich and powerful. And despite living what is considered a first world life, she spends all her time complaining about how hard she has it.
Well, free will was fun while it lasted. Just doing the stuff I wanted to do, going places I wanted to go. Because sometimes I feel like a freak too. I hate this feeling.
Sobriety, Mum?
No, I just feel like my life is ending.
I mean, if you need evidence of this, you don't have to look farther than the first 5 minutes of the series.
Oh, she did it again.
Please, let me go on a crusade. Anything safer than guarding that princess?
1, 2, me. Money's mine. See you guys tomorrow.
You've had your fun.
Did you make sure to add extra frosting?
Of course I... Hey! Where were you?
Right, so let's go down the list. Bean has royal responsibilities, but instead is goofing off in a place she's not supposed to be. In said place, she cheats at a card game, which causes a fight to break out, resulting in her leaving the confusion unscathed and happy it all happened. And when she's scolded for not doing what she's supposed to do, she scoffs at the person taking care of her while they continue to make sure she gets to live a life of luxury and fix problems that she causes. Wow, what a jerk. I know I'm stepping on a few toes here, as I've seen quite a few people who say they really relate to Bean, but I gotta be honest with you guys. She is one of the most spoiled and bratty characters I've ever come across. The bar fight is proof of that. All of this fighting is happening because of money that Bean cheated to get. Money that these other people need. But what does Bean do when she's backed into a corner? She just throws the money away because Bean doesn't need the money. This commotion, this getting into trouble and fighting for it, for her, is just for fun. Something she even acknowledges later.
I just wanted to have a last bit of fun before the happiest day of my life.
Yeah, real nice to see you taking other people's livelihoods as just a game. So, was making the protagonist a millennial stereotype the first big mistake Disenchantment made? Actually, no. Yes, Bean is a very misbehaved person and in my opinion is extremely unlikable, but that doesn't make her a bad character. Let us recall how BoJack Horseman is a lying, cheating narcissist who tends to make the lives of those around him worse. Being amoral or lazy does not make a bad character, and as I said, there are a good number of people who relate to Bean's actions and emotions. Whether you like millennials or not, the protagonist being one is not inherently a bad thing about the show, but it is integral to understanding the other elements that make the first 6 a disaster. Ironically, it isn't Bean that needs to change to make this show better. It's everything else. This has been Shady Doorags. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen.